So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends. Welcome to the Heritage Funeral Complex. We are together this afternoon to pay tribute and honor the memory and the life of Mr. Greg T. Murphy, who passed away on Thursday, September 18th at the very young age of 71. Craig was well loved and admired. He fought hard, but lost a battle to cancer. But what he did not lose, what he did win, was your love, long-time friendships, and lifetime memories. So this afternoon, with loving hearts, we will celebrate not Greg's funeral, but his wake, as I was told. We will celebrate with music, friends that are coming to join us to sing live, with readings and prayers and eulogies from family and friends. So with no further ado, I will invite Barry, Steve, Helen, and Lynn to play the first song, Alleluia.
Heard there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing Hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throne, she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, baby, I've been here before. I've seen these walls and I've walked the floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. I hung my flag on your marble arch. Love's not a victory march. It's a humble and a lonely hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, well, I did my best, it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I told the truth, I didn't come to fool ya. And even though I could be
Thank you. I would like to offer my sincere condolences to his loving wife of 48 years, Anne, to his sons and spouses, Jason and Denise, to Chris and Connie, to his grandchildren, who he loved more than anything in the world, and for whom he and Anne moved from Newfoundland to be closer to. Jessica, Marcus, Brooke, Alex, and Gregory. To his brothers and sister, and family and friends, and to everyone joining us virtually this afternoon, please accept my sincere condolences. We are gathered together to bring peace and hope to our souls. Awake allows us to share our feelings rather than to deny them. And today, it is a time to cry, to reflect, and to grieve, surrounded by the love and support and friendship of family and friends. The loss of someone we love dearly is always sad and overwhelming. We are never, ever ready to say goodbye, even if the person is 99 years old. No matter what the age of our loved one, when they are called home, it is always too soon. And this is why sharing memories and our feelings are so important. Before the ceremony started, I lit the candle beside the urn. And the candle represents our courage. The courage to confront our sorrow and to bring comfort to each other. The candle this afternoon will burn in Greg's memory. We cherish the special place in our hearts that will always be reserved for him. And to the grandkids, I want to say, after today, you will have that special space in your heart for your grandfather that will always be there. And when you think of him, when you need his help, he is there with you. He will always be there. You love him, you remember him. Different meanings for the burning of a candle. It gives us warmth. It can represent strength and courage. It can also represent an angel who looks over us to keep us safe. And it can also represent wisdom and knowledge to stay strong enough to push through obstacles and help us reach our goals. Lord, through your mercy, let those who have lived in faith find eternal peace. Bless Greg and ask your angels in heaven to watch over him and give him peaceful rest. Welcome Greg into your presence, and with your saints in heaven, let him rejoice in you forever. Please join me for the prayer, Our Father. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So at this time, I will invite 5 special people from Greg's life: Jessica, Marcus, Brooke, Alex, and Gregory will share the eulogy with us.
Okay. I'm not doing that.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
We had a wonderful papa, one who never really grew old. His smile was made of sunshine, and his heart was solid gold. His eyes were as bright as shining stars, and in his cheeks fair roses you see. We had a wonderful papa, and that's the way it will always be. But take heed, because he's still keeping an eye on all of us, so let's make sure he'll like what he sees. And that's it. And that's it. That's it.
Very well done. And you do know he will be seeing and watching you. There's no more secrets, but if you do need inspiration, help, or anything, ask him. Thank you. Now we'd like to invite Chris for the next eulogy. And by the way, don't you admire the attire that the sons have taken upon today?
Thank you. Try to get through this. Great job, by the way. That was fantastic. And Jessica, too. So I want to thank you all for coming to remember my dad, Greg Murphy. Why are we wearing shorts? So I'm sure you're all asking that. So for those of you wondering why my brother and I are wearing shorts here today, we are doing it out of respect for my dad. We grew up in Newfoundland, and as you know, it isn't a warm, tropical island. My dad would wear shorts all year round. Often Jay and I would give him a hard time. Dad, you're wearing shorts? Why? What, are you cold? It's -20. So today, Dad, we choose to not feel cold. We feel warm with the memories of you. Papa was the best big brother. Ed and Debbie are here today, and we'll share what kind of brother he was. Tom, Susan, Ed, Lib, Fred are here from Newfoundland, Alberta, to remember their brother-in-law, and I know others are watching at home. I spent a lot of time talking with Dad and Mom's family the past year. I heard what you had to say to him in his final hours. I know how much he meant to you all. How many great memories did you share together? Papa made his friends feel special. I see a lot of Dad's friends here today. I said it in the obituary, and I think it bears repeating. If you knew my dad, he had an ability to pull people close to him. Who was he to you? One of the few friends you considered a close personal friend? Your curling skip? Your teammate? Golf or curling friend that became so close you vacationed together? Friends of Ann and Greg that got together regularly. How many of your best memories have him in it? Your friend's dad was one of the friends of Jason and I, just one of the boys. The neighbor who was always friendly. The noof who never forgot to say hello. Newfoundland friends and family. There are a lot of people here today. I think my brother told me 135 came. If we were in Newfoundland today, it'd be standing room only. We would have to turn people away at the door. Softball friends, curling friends, post office friends, school friends, neighborhood friends. One of the many couples who got together regularly with my mom and dad. I know without a doubt my dad was loved by so many. Jay and I would joke all the time when we were younger. Even guys who were hard tickets, or guys who didn't like us, were always respectful of my dad. When Dad was around, those guys would be, "Oh, hi, Mr. Murph." "Yes, Coach. Thanks, Coach." They would hate for my dad to be disappointed in them. How about as a dad? What kind of role model was he? When we were kids, the one thing we dreaded was for my dad to say, "Disappointed in you." I remember as a kid bugging my big brother a little too much one day. And that particular day, my brother taught me a little lesson. Well, when Dad came home, he sat us down, looked us both in the eye, and said, "Your brother's disappointed in you." That was it. Didn't get mad. That was all he had to say. We never fought with each other again. In fact, from that day on, we were our brother's keepers. It was always family first. My dad was my best friend. My dad was my brother's best friend. My dad is my best friend. Or my brother is my best friend. How about as a papa? Jessica, Marcus, Brooke, Alex, Greg, your Nana and Papa love nothing in the world more than you five. Was there ever an important occasion where your Nana and Papa were not there? How many of your favorite memories include them? I want you to remember how important family was to your Papa. His last message in the hospital to my boys was, "Never let anyone hurt your brothers. If they're hurting one of you, they're hurting all of you." How about as a husband? I said at my wedding, I had the greatest of example of a loving relationship in my parents. My dad and mom were the best of friends. I admired how they loved to spend time together, golf together, curl together. So many friendships shared together. If you knew my dad, you knew my mom. They were a couple. Always a team. Always put their family first. I can never thank you enough for that lesson. I try every day to live up to my dad's example, to be the brother he was, the father he was, the husband he was, the man he was. I see Greg Parsons here today, Gregory Murphy here today, my son. That is who my dad was. He was the man you named your son after. There's no greater compliment. Greg Murphy was successful in life because he always put his family and friends first. That is why he's loved. That is why you are here. In the Bible, they talk about, "On this rock I will build my church," Peter being the rock. Well, on this rock, or this family was built. My dad is that rock. I hope one day I can look back and think the life I led would have made my dad happy, made him proud. Because if that is the case, I kept family first and was there for my friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Well done. It is never easy to come to the front here and pour our soul out, but you're doing a great job. Now I would like to invite Anne and Edmund to come up together.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Edmund, or Ed, or Murph, or Murphy, from the West Coast. Also, as my brother would say, yes, a bit of an arsehole. He was the only one that called me Eddie. I wouldn't let anybody else. Greg and I were very close when I was young. We were almost 10 years apart to the day. We're both Pisces babies. In Newfoundland, growing up, we left Newfoundland when I was 14, and I remember hanging out with my older brother in his Dodge Colt and helping him clear the land for their first home in the backyard when I was a kid. I really enjoyed my time with him. And then we moved to BC, and then our mother moved home in, I can't remember the year, but I was 19, I think. And I didn't go back, and I hadn't seen Greg since the 70s when Mom died in 1997. And I remember the first night I arrived in St. John's with my sister and her husband, her son, and we sat up the entire night just talking and having a cocktail, believe it or not. It was like we had never been apart, and from that day I've been going back to Newfoundland to see Anne's family and spend time with the boys and the nieces and nephews. It was fantastic. I enjoyed my life with Greg so much, and we always had a good laugh. It was a pleasure being his younger brother. I learned a lot from him, and I'll definitely miss him. So, thank you. I love you, Anne.
I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming today. Your support is so nice, and Greg had so many good friends and everything, and it's just wonderful to have you here. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Barry and Steve, Helen and Lynn for the beautiful music. And I want to say a special thank you to Leanna, who worked in the OR at the General, and when we couldn't go visit Greg, she would go see him before when her shift was over, and then she would call us and let us know how everything was going. So I don't know where you are, Leanna. Right there. Thank you, and thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it, and Greg does too. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Leanne. I know that during the pandemic, it must have been doubly hard for Anne and the family to be able to assist Greg during the past year and a half. Let us reflect on the words that we have heard so far, and we will listen to Barry, Steve, Helen, and Lynn sing Danny Boy.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the
If there's a dry eye in the room, I don't think it'll be this room exactly. Thank you so much. And I know this isn't fair. I should have asked Debbie to speak before the song, but Debbie and Gregory will now share their eulogy with us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. I know Greg's looking down and having a good time. Anyway, I'm his sister, his only sister, Debbie. I had an older sister, older than Greg, and I don't know if everybody knows that, but she died when she was 16 days old, and her name was Barbara Ann. So I'm the only sister with 5 boys. And, you know, Greg was always, back in the day, he was always there for me. He was always my big brother. I could go out with his friends. He always had all kinds of friends, even when he was little. And I'd go out with him, and there'd be 10 boys and me. And there wasn't nobody was going to say anything about the girl, because... And anyway, he always supported me, whatever I wanted to do. In those days, you know, my mom and dad, what I should be doing is you know, ballet or something like that. And he was always there to support me. I was goalie in the goal for the hockey games in the backyard. You know, we had a rink in the backyard, and I played baseball, and even there was one time, I know everybody said how athletic Greg was. Well, he was, I talked to some friends of his recently, and he was in track and field, and him and a bunch of his relay buddies, they still have the records in St. John's in the high school for track and field. And Greg was always, you know, very athletic. He was always in the popular group, like Anne. I wasn't the popular one, you know, but yeah. And so anyway, I left home when I was 19, and I'd met a fella, Santa Claus over there, and we started our life together in Montreal, and we went to see a concert and never went back to Newfoundland. We went to see Jethro Tull, if anybody knows who that is, and we had a good time, and we stayed there. So I didn't have much to do with Greg for a few years until he married Anne, and Jason and Chris came along, and they were big in my life, my nephews, and then the grandkids came along. And anyway, I'd just like to read something. It's, I'm going to read it as if Greg is talking to you guys, if that's okay. So, I got to figure it out. I wrote this so many times that there's scribbles everywhere, because there's so much I wanted to say and so little time to say it in. Here it is here. So, death is nothing at all. I have only slipped away to the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we still are. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you always used. Put no difference into your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without the trace of a shadow on it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same that it ever was. There is absolute unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am but waiting for you, for an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well. Nothing is past, nothing is lost. One brief moment and all will be as it was before, only better, infinitely happier and forever. Until we meet again, may the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you.
So, I'm named after my uncle, and I can't think of, when I think of my Uncle Greg, I think of a man that was extremely loyal to his family and his friends. I think of somebody that always had my back. Because living so far away, I didn't get to spend, a lot of time with my Uncle Greg, but the time that I did spend with him was always very focused, quality time. He always had a good word to say. And he was just always there to give me words of wisdom, and always with a sense of humor. It's funny listening to you talk as we got here. Your Newfie accent keeps coming out a little bit thicker and thicker, and I'm sure when I get home, my girlfriend will probably hear that in my voice too. And
Yeah.
all through today, I've been hearing my Uncle Greg. Just his voice in the back of my head. What he would have thought of that, or what he would have thought of that. Would have said something about that, and I think he's here. Still feel him, And yeah, I'm just really proud
Yeah.
to have his name. Man, I thought I would be doing so good.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's important for the family to hear all these words, because then when they're going to leave later today, and they're going to reminisce and remember all these nice things that were said about Greg, and you hang on to those words forever afterwards. When you have a sad moment, you just reflect on today. So thank you. And now we will have Jason come up and share his eulogy with us.
Okay. So, going to pull back the curtain on myself a little bit. Mom and Dad would probably say that I was a bit particular growing up as a kid. Debbie's laughing because it's true. Take after my Uncle Ed. Then I grew up, and that translated into wanting having nice things and still be very particular, especially over what to wear and when. I tell you this today, as today would have been the day to break out the nice suit. But as my brother so eloquently put it, today is Shorts Day. And that's truly an homage to our dad. Okay. So, very, very tough to follow such loving words from everyone so far. So let me start by saying what a beautiful service it's been. Chris, Mom, Ed, Deb, and Greg, and of course, Jess, Marcus, Brooke, Alex, and Greg. You were all amazing, honestly. And the music, wow, honestly. Maybe we'll just take you guys home with us later. So, hey, why not? It'll be a party. So anyway, Dad would be so happy with all of it. There's just no doubt. I also want to thank so many people. There's too many to list, honestly. That, of course, speaks to how much Dad was truly loved by all, from family and friends to even casual neighbors. So many he has touched, and so many I truly want to thank for the support and the many kind wishes during this difficult time. Okay. So, speaking of difficult times, this is going to be the hard part. Could there be a worse time to be diagnosed with cancer? At the start of a global pandemic. For me, this was crushing, as I wanted nothing more but to spend time with Dad and do everything possible to help him through. But with the transmission risk being so great, my visits were cut down from 3 times a week to once a week at best, and oftentimes sitting outside in the cold. It was certainly a cruel and frustrating time. With all that said, I want to say how thankful I am that Dad had Mom. Mom was not alone, but at times it certainly must have felt that way. So Mom, truly, thank you for all you did during this time. I know it wasn't easy. And I love you very much. Okay, so now, of course, I'm going to lighten up a little bit here. I give so much credit to my mom for what I am today, and I've learned so much from Mom. But one thing sticks with me. The woman is always right. Just had to throw that in there. There's no bad time for brownie points. So I'm sure, Denise, Mom, you appreciate that. So I can't see. Okay. But I'm a boy. And what boy does not want to look up to his dad? And when I look back, and even today, I always strive, and I have always strived to be the husband, father, and man that Dad was. And Dad, I think we did a pretty good job. And I know that because you told me so many times that, Jason, you're doing a great job. So, many, many thanks to you, Dad. Because of your footsteps, I was able to marry a beautiful woman in Denise and raise 2 very special girls in Jessica and Brooke. I love you, girls. Oh, okay. So, story time. So let me set this up a little bit. The one thing about Dad we always loved was his passion and his patience. Oh, did he have patience. I think many of you have laughed with Mom and Dad over the years. How many of you have heard the loving banter from Dad? Anne! So, that's kind of what this story is about. Dad's unique way of sometimes showing his passion and his love. Okay, again, story time. It was the spring of 1993, so a little while ago, and Denise and I had been dating for about 6 months. I remember one night at the house on Lancaster in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, Denise and Dad had decided to set up the VCR. For you youngins, that's where we had to play movies. No Netflix back then. Anyhow, I was smartly upstairs in the kitchen with Mom because I remembered about Dad's passion and patience. Within 10 minutes, all I remember hearing was Dad and Denise yelling at each other. And Denise says, "Greg, just listen to me." And then Dad in his famous, out of patience and loving voice, "Denise!" At that moment I knew Denise was a part of the family forever, as Dad had officially announced it in his own unique and loving way. Concluding on Dad's passion, Dad loved Mom more than anything in the world, and we all knew his favorite word was, the family could say it with me, and so many funny stories to tell, so many thanks. I could honestly go on forever. I wish I could. But there's too many for now. And I think later tonight there will be many more stories. Dad would want me to finish with this, and this is important. Don't you mourn me. Celebrate me. And with that, I'd like to ask up my little brother to come join me up here. Everybody please give me a minute.
Need a hand there?
Yeah. I'm getting there.
Not yet.
There we go.
It's made in Newfoundland.
Sound effects. Sound effects. Thank you so much.
Here, I'll take that.
Here, Chris, here's the top that I couldn't get off.
We didn't bring any pot.
Oh, we're not done.
Ed, ice.
All right, now it's a party. Okay. So, Dad's favorite drink, and honestly, Dad's favorite thing in the world was to have a special cheers, especially on special occasions, and this is truly a special occasion. So, here's to our Dad. Here's to Papa. Cheers.
Please rise.
Cheers, Dad.
Still not that good.
He's not wrong. Okay. Sorry, Diane, I left you a little bit of a mess. But,
Go ahead.
okay. I did plan to.
I think this qualifies for a kitchen party. Yeah, okay, good. Except the only thing is, 2 glasses? And we're supposed to share with everybody? Thank you so much, Greg and Chris, Jason, for this. And this is what a celebration is about. It's about life. How do I continue now with these words? Nothing is more shocking or emotional than the death of a loved one. Facing the death of someone you love, a spouse, a parent, a brother, a papa, a close friend, is one of life's most difficult experiences, and unfortunately one that we have to go through more than once in our lifetime. Your head is spinning with so many thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and you can't grasp that you've had your last visit, your last conversation, your last meal, your last holiday with your loved one. Your mind is flooded with things you wish you had said or done. And you want to say, I love you one more time, and you want it said to you as well. But your warehouse of memories is filled with fond remembrances, and you are holding tightly to that treasured collection of fading photographs and words. You don't feel ready to say goodbye or to deal with the grief that's overtaken you. And when you are grieving, it's tempting to think that if you could get answers to the questions that plague you, your grief might be lessened. The question is quite natural. Why? Why now? Why him? Why her? How could this happen to such a good person? Anyone who has grieved has asked these questions, but the problem is we cannot answer them. These things are secrets in the mind of destiny and therefore mysteries to us. But the key to comfort is peace and hope. There are always little lights. Search for those little lights. Pay attention to the good things, even in the dark moments. And fill your heart with gratitude. The emotions that you are feeling today will eventually transform themselves into a calmness. And the veil of mist and numbness do disappear. But look beyond this moment of grief to an eternity with love and support from family and friends. So as you grieve, remember what is to come and to be thankful. You have a bright future that does not include only sadness. We have hope because we have trust. And we trust in ourselves and in our family and friends. And our grief is mixed with hope, and our sorrow is colored with love. Greg's life has touched all of you in so many ways, but his passing remains a reminder that life is fragile. Patience, caring, and understanding are necessary to deal with grief. So help each other find serenity and peace to face the new reality. Greg's life, which was filled with love, will give way to silence and calmness. And the veil of sadness will gradually pass, and Greg will live forever in your hearts. Continue to celebrate his life. Continue old traditions, start new traditions. And don't forget that his heritage runs in your veins. You are all carriers of Greg's love and passion and patience. And what if a brilliant twinkling star that brings the dark night sky to life is the window looking out of heaven? And at the very moment when you're wishing on that star, hoping that Greg is happy, safe, and free, maybe Greg is looking at the same star but from the other side. And he's making the same wish for you and sending you all his love. A life well lived is a precious gift of hope and strength and grace from someone who has made your world a brighter, better place. It's filled with moments, sweet and sad, with smiles and sometimes tears, with friendships formed and good times shared and laughter through the years. A life well lived is a legacy of joy and pride and pleasure. A living, lasting memory our grateful hearts will forever treasure. In memory of Greg, the family has chosen the Canadian Cancer Society if you wish to make donations. And the family wishes to thank friends and loved ones who gave him and the family support and comfort during his illness. And I hope that when you leave this afternoon, it will be with a feeling that we have truly celebrated Greg's life. A special thank you to you, family and friends, close and far, who have traveled many miles, for your loving support today. Anne and the family sincerely wish to thank you from the bottom of their hearts for your kindness, your sympathy, and your caring words. And a very special thank you to Barry, Steve, Helen, and Lynn for having shared their love of music with us and their love for Greg. So with this, we will conclude the ceremony. And if anybody can remain seated during the next song, I congratulate you, but I don't think so. The family and the musicians wish for you to join them in the last homage for Greg. And at the end of the last song, this will conclude the celebration of life for Craig today. So thank you for your presence. And now we continue the kitchen party.
Love me.